What's up everyone, TechCloud here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the HTC One M8 camera and its interface, and I'm going to show you the sample photos and videos. So basically this is all you need to know about the HTC One 8 camera. So if you watch this video, then you will find each and everything about the HTC One M8 camera. So you can access the camera from the lock screen using the shortcut camera button at the bottom of the screen, and you can also unlock the HTC One M8 into the camera directly by using the gesture. All you need to do is you need to pick up your HTC One into the landscape mode and then press the volume plus or volume minus or volume up or volume down button, and it will automatically unlock into the HTC One camera, as you can see here in this video. And it's a very nice feature, but make sure you have a phone in the landscape mode. Let's look at the camera hardware. It has two sensors, one for camera and one is the depth sensor. It has dual LED flash and it works very nicely and retain the colors very well. And it has the microphone as well, very close to these sensors, as you can see on the left portion in this video. So once you have opened the camera app and you are on the camera interface, you will find that it has a gallery button, it has a camera shutter button, and also the selection of the camera. And it has the flash on, off, and auto flash button as well. You can toggle them. And it has a menu button, and the menu has different options. Let's go to the settings first. It has the makeup level. Basically, if you are going to take a selfie or a portrait, you can put the makeup level up or down. It has the slider, and depending upon your choice, you can use the makeup level. And it has the image adjustments as well. If you go to the image adjustment menu, you will find three options there. Basically, you can adjust the contrast, you can adjust the saturation, and you can also adjust the sharpness. That's very nice and very good options. You can adjust them. And also you can change the crop mode, whether you want 16:9 or 4:3. You can turn on location, you can turn on and off the grid as well if you want to use a rule of thirds. And also there is an option to turn on the review duration as well. You can turn on self timer from 2 to 10 seconds, and you can change the location of the storage of the videos and photos, either SD card or phone. You can turn on and off the continuous shooting. And in camera options, you have basically three things you can turn on and off, and they are pretty self-explanatory. And this is where you can also turn off the shutter sound. And here you can assign the volume button functions, whether they will control the volume, focus, or the capture. And you can save all these settings into a preset, and you can rename this one, and you can anytime come back and launch that preset, so that you will find those settings automatically available for you. So let's look at what are the scene modes available. You have the auto mode, you have the night mode, you have HDR, you have panorama, you have the stable shot, which is basically the image stabilization. It is only the digital one. There is no optical image stabilization on HTC One M8. And there is a manual mode as well. And then there is portrait mode, and there is landscape mode. In the manual mode, basically you can adjust the white balance, you can change the ISO, you can change the exposure values, you can change the shutter speed, and you can change the focus point as well. And that's very nice, and that's up to the level of Nokia Lumia devices. That's what actually they provide as well. And it's very nice of HTC that they are actually providing all these things. So software wise, it is a well featured camera. And you have other modes as well, like the backlit mode, and you have the text mode as well, and you have the macro mode. So depending upon different functions and different type of photos you want to take, you can select these scene modes, and they will help you. Other than auto, you have ISO settings as well, you have exposure value settings, and you have the white balance settings, and you have different sort of filters available. So either you can use these filters first, or you can apply the filters afterwards as well. In order to go to the video, you need to click this camera selection button, and then you can go to video, Zoe, or selfie, dual camera, or panorama 360, which is basically a photosphere rename to the panorama 360 or pan 360. So once you go to the video mode, you can actually shoot video in different sort of modes. Either you can shoot in normal mode, which is the 1080p normal video, or you can shoot in slow motion video mode, which is 720p, and you can shoot fast motion 60 frames per second in full HD. And you can also shoot full HD HDR video as well, which is also nice. In the settings, once again, you can change similar sort of settings, and two additions are basically you can change the video quality, and you can change the lock focus during recording option as well, which is also very nice, because if you don't want the phone to keep on focusing during the video recording, which will not actually look nice, then you can turn on this option. Now let's look at some of the editing modes available in the gallery. This is the gallery, and if you want to use the depth sensor and you want to enhance the look of your photo, you can actually make them look the background, you can make it look blur because of that depth sensor, but it does not work well all the time. As you can see on the right hand side on the grass, this portion should have been blurred, but it is not blurred. But other than that, the photo actually looks pretty good, and it looks that it is taken by a DSLR, but the quality is not as good as the DSLR. Other than this effect, there are different sort of effects available. For example, this foregrounder, it will actually help you to change either the foreground or the background. You can induce the motion blur, you can put the cartoon effects, and you can colorize, and there are different actually type of filters available. There are cool weather effects are also available, looks very, very nice, and make animated photo. There is also 3D effect. If you turn it on using the depth sensor, it will actually convert your photo into a 3D photo, and for some photos such as this photo, this effect looks really cool, and if you tilt your device, it will pan here and there, which will give it a very nice effect, but it does not work all that well with all the photos. Then you have stickers available. If you have taken a selfie or if you have taken a portrait of somebody, you can use these stickers and put those glasses or hats on somebody on that photo. And also you can copy and paste someone from one photo to another. That's also a nice feature. And although it's a little bit gimmicky, but you can try. It has touch up as well, like if you want to make the portrait look a little bit enhanced, that you can use the different touch up functions. And it has the filters as well. You can also use the custom filter as well, or you can use the preset which is already available. You can use different type of frames, and some of the frames and some of the effects are nice and cool. If you are into Instagram, then you will like these filters and frames. Also, there are some tools available. You can draw anything on the photo, you can rotate, crop, flip, and you can straighten your photos. So pretty comprehensive gallery editing options, and I kind of like it. Let's look at some of the sample photos. HTC One M8 camera is actually getting all kind of bad press from many journalists, but in my actually experience, I have used this camera, and I'm not that disappointed using this camera, because I was actually expecting a kind of HTC One M7 kind of performance, but it's actually much better than HTC One M8. It's better than before. It's still behind the competition, but it's still very usable. I have actually taken the shots in the day and night as well. Yes, in the day it is not as good as the higher pixel cameras, but it still works pretty well. It might not actually show you as much detail as a 20 megapixel or 16 megapixel camera in the daylight, but if you don't zoom in, you will not find that big of a difference. Yeah, still you will be able to find few things here and there, but when you share your photos on Instagram, Facebook, or other social media, then you won't feel much disappointed using this camera, because I have actually tested this camera using the social media technique, and I actually put the photos on the social channel, two photos, one from HTC One M8 and one from S5, and people were not actually able to tell which one is which, and they kind of like the HTC One photos as well. Some were actually thinking that they are S5 photos. HTC One M8 has a powerful flash, and this particular photo was taken in a room which was totally dark. Not even single light was there, and the whole scene was lit using the HTC One M8 flash, and I think it did a pretty good job considering it is just a smartphone. And this photo is also taken using the flash, and I have noticed that the flash actually retains the colors very well. It is using the two type of color LED, so this is the reason why it is actually giving very nice effect to the photos without actually destroying the colors. This shot is also taken using the flash, and the colors are retained pretty well, although the level of detail in this photo is not that great because it is just a 4 megapixel camera, but still the colors are very good. In the daytime shots, yes, again the 4 megapixel actually shows its limit, and it does not give as much detail as a 16 or 20 megapixel. But most of the photos actually turn out good, and they are nicely balanced. My only issue with the daytime photos using this phone is that the camera does not have very good dynamic range, and this becomes a problem when the sun is out and the sunlight is hitting directly any part of the photo intensively. In these photos, yes, I'm actually shooting towards the sun and the clouds rather. And people gonna argue that nobody shoot the clouds or sun, but the thing is, you will notice the problem even if you are not shooting the sun or the clouds directly, because if you are shooting a portrait and the sky is brightly lit, and then the sky again is gonna blown out. Look at this photo. The sun is nowhere here, but on the right hand side the sunlight was very intense, and the right top corner is again blown out. The sunlight was hitting the top left corner of the building here, and you can see again that portion is blown out.